What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsays postgame show. Danny Marang, Brandon Sprague, blah. Portland Trailblazers lose to the Golden State Warriors in spectacular fashion, 132-95. For those counting, that's 227 total points, not 228 total points, if you may or may not have gambled on the over of 227 tonight.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Danny. It's a very good point.
For those of you that did not take part in the watch party, you saw Brandon catch what we have affectionately become known as the Brandon beat.
Ouch. That's what they named it when I left. I was so upset that I couldn't even hang around for the final 22 seconds. I was out. Trendon Watford, you are now on my shit list.
He got his shot. The floater in the paint. You're thinking, cash money, baby. You got GP2 to hit the three, to hit the over. A miracle happened.
Danny, GP2 hitting the three. I was like, it's going to happen now. Like, that dude can't hit anything. And there we go. There it is again. The Blazers railroading my bet.
All right. So let's kind of go through this real quick. Let's get through a little bit of a rundown. First quarter, the Portland Trailblazers played spectacular basketball. Anfernee Simons showed that he is that dude. They didn't have an answer for him. The Warriors looked a little sleepy. The Blazers were playing well. Josh Hart continued to play his outstanding brand of basketball. Justise Winslow was doing things. Williams Eubanks screened somebody into another dimension. I think we'll find him when the new Doctor Strange movie comes out. But Blazers looked good for a quarter basketball, and then the bench came in, Brandon, and then they actually continued to score.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a good start to the game. There's no doubt. Like, I was sitting there, like, I think like half of the Blazers fans watching going, oh, my God, here we go. Like, Anfernee Simons makes this team tank-proof. But it's the Warriors, and it's the Warriors. Yes, it's one by one, and they scored 48 points in the entire second half. So there you go.
So this is kind of to put a bow on the whole situation for the Portland Trailblazers. Their starters are going to be in games.
Yeah.
Anfernee Simons is going to continue to play well. Josh Hart is going to play well. Justise Winslow is going to continue to play well. You're going to get contributions. I don't think you're going to have Macklemore on this team much longer, to be honest. I think that before March 1st, they're probably going to wait.
Oh, really?
Because they need to sign a big for the remainder of the season.
Okay.
And if you cut Macklemore loose, you all but assure yourself of less scoring opportunities.
Sure. Yeah, because, go get an unskilled offense, go get a defensive-minded big, you know?
Yeah, or just sign Eubanks outright, because right now they're using the exception.
10-day.
The injury. It's a 10-day on top of an injury exception because of the injuries that they have up and down the roster. So, when you look at this, I really like what the Blazers did here in the sense of they committed. And I was... Yep. We talked about this a lot going into the All-Star break, whether or not they were going to do it. I had a reeling suspicion it was going to happen, but I was definitely afraid, Brandon, that they may not do it, because I had heard from some in the organization that maybe a particular draft pick wasn't quite as valuable. Was that really lip service? Turns out, ladies and gentlemen, it was lip service, and they believe in the value of that draft pick. And shout out Eduardo, who just donated $1.99, and he just said, for Sprague.
Shout out Eduardo, because dear God, the Blazers sure as hell aren't giving me any money, so I appreciate that.
You know what that's going to? I'm going to send you that as soon as we get done. I'm going to send it to you directly. It's going to your fund for your new computer.
Oh, don't do that. Come on, my $1.99. I don't know who you talked to, but I'll say this: I don't blame that person within the organization for maybe feeling that way. I think that's what a decade of nihilism is.
Not just that. I had heard that it was said pretty proudly that, hey, you've got to be able to draft where you find guys. And
I'm glad they didn't make that decision.
Yes.
Is basically what I'm glad that they said. No. The writing on the wall is obvious. We can be one of the 6 worst teams in the league. Let's do this.
There's a real opportunity. And ladies and gentlemen, the Trailblazers lost. So
that's time to run it.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and fire it up. All right, I gotta every time I do this, because I shrink it up and re-shrink it, I gotta make sure we get. Oh, there we go. Sim lottery. I think we gotta put it right there. Okay, Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we
Simmons in the
go.
lottery. Portland Trailblazers did not move. But the New Orleans pick went to 4th, so you lost the pick too.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario possible. All right, better luck next time. So, that is where we sit as of right now. It was funny, his Tankathon actually doesn't update until the next day. So, let's see. They're a half game ahead of San Antonio now. And they're New Orleans. Let me reset. They should be a half game ahead of San Antonio at 25-36. New Orleans is 23-36 with games to play. I think that New Orleans pick is pretty safely Portland's.
Oh, you think it's safely Portland's? Because New Orleans is not good. I could see New Orleans holding. If it's 1 through 4, they keep it, right? Or does that go?
It go 1 through 4. It goes to New Orleans. 5 through 14, Portland.
15
non-lottery to Charlotte, and then it becomes Milwaukee's top 4 protected 2025 first round pick.
If it does not convey.
Okay.
All right. Best case scenario, you get the 1, and you get New Orleans as 5.
That honestly, if that scenario plays out, which is very unlikely,
and the odds are not in your favor, yes.
But if that situation happens, I think Portland goes much bigger game hunting.
Oh yeah, I mean, it opens up everything for every team that's not in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, and remember when the Harden Ben Simmons stuff was kind of up in the air. I was saying, hey, hope that they just don't come to an agreement that Brooklyn backs out at the last second, and Ben Simmons is a 76er. And this is the same kind of situation where you're looking at this offseason, you're like, the Celtics are playing really well right now. You're hoping they get ousted in the first round.
Yep.
You're absolutely hoping for that team to get ousted in the first round. Hell, Phoenix to get ousted in the first round. Like something weird to happen somewhere that causes a massive shakeup where a lot of money is involved, and Portland's like, hey, it just so happens we have a $20 million trade exception. We can take something from you.
Oh, and then we
can give you a draft pick.
And then Joel asks out, and then he comes to Portland, and he gets to play with his dream scenario of Damian Lillard.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Or Zion just moves from, a relatively local place to a local place entirely.
Or he just doesn't move, and this is where he stays forever, and we embrace him.
B-Bass, who could you get for 2 top 10 picks? Not even 2 top 10 picks. You're talking about 2 top 5 picks.
2 top 5 picks.
In that scenario. And that's in a draft that is top 4, solid. And if Shaedon Sharpe does come out, then you're talking about a pretty hefty, sizable haul. Eduardo says OKC would trade up. Yeah, but unless they're giving up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you're not really interested in what OKC has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, OKC's got 1 million picks, and at some point they've got to use them.
Yeah, but not only that doesn't help Portland right now.
They're not. Yeah, that's not going to.
Portland's in the get players right now.
Yes, they are in the asset acquirement business, and I'm not talking about draft assets. I'm talking about player assets. Giving me a first-round draft pick 4 years from now seems good in theory. It does nothing for what Portland wants to do.
So, an interesting situation right now, but. I want to kind of go back to this game real quick. We talked about the general landscape of things. The starters are going to play well. The bench is going to come in, and they're going to struggle because they can't keep up. But we did have 3 debuts tonight, Brandon. You had former, or I should say, previous NBA player, Drew Eubanks, who he did Drew Eubanks things. He screened a lot of people really hard. He played physical, and he, I think, kind of fit in relatively well.
Yeah,
he doesn't really, fill the box score, but he allows them to run their pick and roll with an effective screener and kind of free Anfernee Simons to do things.
I think he basically fills your Cody Zeller void.
Yeah, which they're short of Cody Zeller too, so they needed a body like that. Another guy who made his debut for the Portland Trailblazers tonight, Keon Johnson. Mm-hmm. What did you like about Johnson?
I kind of just like the rawness of him. You can see the athleticism on display.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, look, he showed you some things athletically. I didn't really get a lot from his game tonight. I thought he had some bad defensive moments as well, but
he is 19.
But that's
he's
the thing.
He's a kid.
He's 19. This is an organization that prides itself on developing players, right?
Yes.
No look no further than number one on this team. So I just like kind of the rawness of him, and I think it also kind of silences some of the. How do you not get a first-round draft pick back for C.J. McCollum? Like, yeah, Keon Johnson, like, or no, the Clippers. They're for Norm. Sorry, but people bag that, and I just kind of viewed it as like, after 10 in the draft, it's such a wash anyway. Like, give me a guy with maybe some upside and some super athleticism.
They put out Anfernee Simons, Keon Johnson, and Greg Brown III on the floor at the same time, and that may be the most athleticism the Blazers have had on the floor in the past 35 years.
I'll one-up you. I don't think you can find a three-man rotation that can jump more than that.
I tweeted it out, and Richmond did say if the Warriors had put JTA and GP2 on the floor with Kuminga and Wiggs.
Okay, that's fair.
But I mean, like, you're taking hyper athletes.
Right.
You're talking about, again, that 1% of the 1% type stuff, and the Blazers just have never been there.
No,
the Blazers haven't been in that group since run and gun, Clyde, Terry, Buck, Jerome. Like, that's the last time they had dudes like this.
Yeah.
And it's fun. They got their ass kicked tonight, Brandon, and it was still fun.
Oh, no, I still, it wasn't to me. It's this organization made it abundantly clear with the Nurk move. To me, it's not about the results. It's just about watching the development.
Yes.
That's all it's about for me now. There's I couldn't give two rips if they're up 12, if they're down 32. That doesn't change my emotions one iota. If anything, it makes me more upset that they're up 12 in those hypothetical scenarios than being down 32. But I'll still take watching Keon, seeing what he can do. Ant continues to dice teams up. I mean, for God's sakes, they ran a box and one on him tonight.
Yes.
Greg Brown, we talked like, what's his ceiling?
We talked about this in the watch party. What do you see as Greg Brown's ceiling as a player? Because I think he's kind of gone from some people's eyes of like, oh, he's like a project, and maybe he turns into something, to like, I see more in him. Like, I don't see him as a star, but I see a 6'9" guy who's got a 40+ inch vertical who could run in a pick and roll with Anfernee Simons or Damian Lillard when you've got real NBA players around them. Let's say he plays some small ball 5.
Yeah.
Which I think is a viable thing that could happen next year.
I actually think that's kind of his natural position as a small ball 5.
And all of a sudden, you've got to worry about verticality with Anfernee Simons and Greg Brown getting downhill. And on the weak side of the floor is Damian Lamont, Ollie Lillard.
Yeah.
You're not sagging in to help anymore. And what does this team look like with that kind of athleticism? What does the team look like with that kind of verticality in their attack presence? They've realistically never had. And if he all of a sudden is able to do that, but then read a pick and roll and decide I can step out and hit a 3, and I'm not talking about him being a 40% three-point shooter, 34, 35% where you're like, crap, I have to go with this guy. Now you're allowing Anfernee Simons, Damian Lillard to get downhill or to attack a 2-on-1 in a different way than they've been able to do since LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, that's a pretty interesting proposition, at least, right?
Well, I think the thing about Greg is we know the athleticism there. We know he's kind of figured out what his role is on this team. To me, the biggest thing is he continues to shoot threes. Can that dude get to where's he at right now statistically? Like, I'm just wondering if Greg spends a lot of his summer just chucking them up. Could Greg Brown be a 34.5, 35% three-point shooter? I don't know if it's out of the realm. It doesn't have to be impossible. Like, he gladly shoots that shot when he gets it.
I tell you what, the ones that he let go tonight,
they look good.
I wasn't mad about it. I was like, if you're going to step into it confidently and like let it go, okay.
Because if Greg Brown is your 11th guy, not playing really, but like once in a while with foul trouble, you have to see him, and he can shoot a 3 and he's running your dunker spot. Give me that. I'll take that all day.
And I think that's where, like, taking a flyer on a guy with peak NBA athleticism and hoping you can patch in the gaps on the other side is a good strategy. Brandon Williams made his debut tonight again for the Trailblazers. I should say his debut because he was signed with the team earlier this season on a 10-day. He's now on their two-way deal since they converted Trendon Watford's two-way into a permanent contract. Again, congratulations to Trendon. He deserved it. But the one thing I look at Keon and Brandon, they're both very small. They both weigh like $150. But those are two of the shiftiest, quickest players in the NBA right now. They can get wherever they want, whenever they want, as far as operating in space. It's kind of almost Tyreek Hill-esque, where you're like, Jesus, like how do you stop them from getting where they want to go? Now, I don't know what they do when they get there.
I don't think they know yet.
But it's at least like an interesting proposition, and it allows them to play at a pace that this team just hasn't had.
Well, and also bear in mind, too, Brandon Williams got his first career three tonight, and compared to Steph, that's not
He's 3,083 behind.
Which is just, why did TNT do that?
Let's give us a dick move. And
But
then
like,
Reggie
why?
came back. Reggie came back later. It was like, oh, we weren't throwing shade. It's like,
I mean, you can say that, but you're still
really?
throwing shade.
Did your social media manager tell you, hey, apologize for this because it was kind of a dick move to a guy who just hit his first NBA three?
I didn't mean to offend you, but I know you're offended. But
What
fuck
I'm
you.
about to say might offend you. You know, like, no disrespect, but I'm about to disrespect you.
Don't take this the wrong way. Okay, all right, great.
Just so you know, your Beavs are down 1 to USC right now with 12 of the shot clock and 43.7 seconds left remaining.
What channel?
I don't know. I just saw it pop up on the Twitter feed.
Are they going to beat your team and win their 4th game of the year?
I'm.
Oh my God, Danny, we own you guys in sports.
It's. I don't know what it's on right now.
I can't find.
26 seconds left. USC
What channel?
Number 16 in the country. USC is up 71-70.
What
The
channel?
23-4 USC Trojans are leading by 1
Oh,
over
here
the
we go.
3-22 Oregon State Beavers.
Okay, wait. I'm not seeing a Pac-12 network. Let's see.
Watch. It's on ESPN right now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Shoot.
So.
Well, now you've forced me to have to watch the end of this game.
Yeah, well, you can have it going while we talk about the last little bit of things here, because we're gonna wrap things up because I'm in a lot of pain. I've been sitting in this chair longer than I've been sat in a chair for the past 10 days. So
You're drugged. I'm tired.
Yes.
Like, it's a hell of a.
Hints for Home says it's on ESPN2, so it's on ESPN2
Oh,
right now.
ESPN2. Okay.
So
thank
you guys can kind of feed us in here while we're
There we
wrapping
go.
things up. One thing I did want to talk about real quick is the upcoming schedule for those who are still worried about the tank. This is your upcoming schedule for your Portland Trailblazers. I'm going to keep banging this drum because I think it bears repeating. Everybody was very worried about the tank. Now, after the Golden State Warriors loss, you have the Denver Nuggets at home, and then you have a 4-game road trip at Phoenix, at Minnesota, twice at Utah, and that is the 2nd, 5th, 7th, and 9th. So after the 2nd, you have 2 days off, then a game every other night. And then 2 days off, you play the Wizards at home. Then you day off, and you go out on a 5-game road trip against the Atlanta Hawks, New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets, Indiana Pacers, Detroit Pistons. And what you're hoping for is that those Pacers and Pistons game are at the back of a ton of road games.
Yep.
9 out of 10 on the road, that they're too tired and they can drop some bad games.
So we said this. We said this before their 4-game winning streak. They're going to lose all of those next few games you said.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They just know Nurkic, like Minnesota's going to dominate you.
Denver and Utah and Phoenix
It's a wrap.
should
That's a wrap.
shred them.
That's a wrap. You're not winning those games. So there's at least 5 games lost in a row. That's good news. If you can look, and I know I don't mean to ruin the fun here. You know, if there's a game against a crappier opponent where Ant's back is a little tight and he needs to sit for a night, I wouldn't be shocked.
Hey, listen, nine road games, 9 out of 11.
Yep.
Back of a road trip.
It's
passable. Listen, I will tell you this. Did you see how many minutes Anfernee Simons played tonight?
Oh, what did he finish? What was the final?
29. Mwah!
Well, I mean, he didn't need to play. They were down 30 points.
I'm just going to say. You take care of the hard work in the first half. It's easy to see it kind of go. Before the All-Star break, when they had won a few games, I kept ending up, Brandon, at 33 wins.
I think I said 31.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will adjust now. I'm going to go down to 28.
For the rest of the year?
No, 28 wins in the season.
Right. So they'll finish with 28.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they at 25?
24. Are they at 25?
I think they're at 25.
Oh, they are. Okay, so 29. Excuse me.
So they win 4 games. That is so awful.
I have a reeling suspicion that they are going to turn the volume up on this thing.
Yeah, I think Joe Cronin's like, oh, you think I'm going play-in? Take a listen.
Yeah. So I just, again.
It might get dark. It might get to the point where.
I hope it does. I hope you can't see.
You're going to see a lot of Blazer regulars on Twitter go, oh, there was a game tonight? I didn't know. They're on a 19-game losing streak.
These post-game shows are going to be more about like pop culture. I'm going to bring in guests. I'm going to bring in doctors to give you like updates on my hip status. Like it's, we're going to stretch for some stuff.
Yeah. Did you guys buy the stem to listen to Dawn to 2? Like we're going to dive into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. A lot of video game talk. A lot of what did Daddy watch while he was in bed.
There you go.
As we get closer, we will dive into draft prospects.
Yes.
So
we both know people that cover the draft. We can reach out to people that cover the draft.
So for those that are wondering, I'm going to do kind of a I don't want to say a rehash, but kind of a framing for what the Trailblazers tried to accomplish on trade deadline day and what they're shaping to do this summer. And I'm bringing on Jake Fisher to do that next week.
Oh, okay. So you didn't talk to him.
I didn't talk to him.
Okay.
I texted him. I was like, "Hey, man, I am in quite a bit of pain. I'm going to look like shit on camera right now. Like I look like I look like a guy who's just out of surgery already, and I looked really bad on Tuesday. So,
well, you shot me that text, and it was literally the worst day of my week.
Yeah, you were signing for the house and everything else, and I was like, but I ended up. I definitely did not do it with him, so I scheduled for next week. So we will have Jake Fisher on. Eric Garcia Gunderson is going to come in and do a watch party. Hyken is going to come in and do a show. Casey Holdall is going to do an off day show on the road.
You keep saying Holdall.
I've got him.
Okay, you keep saying it.
Now we're gonna make it happen.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to get Nas again. I'm working with his people to see if once he's feeling better before the end of the year. Listen, Joey asked about Richmond. Richmond and I talk. Richmond and I do the same thing, and this isn't like his podcast versus my podcast like rivalry thing. This is just a conflict of scheduling. Like he's doing the same thing right now that I am doing.
Yeah.
So he's recording at the same time, or he's doing the Zoom calls, asking questions in post game, and so like the only way it will happen is if we do it on a off day.
Yeah.
And even then, he's got a day job too. So
I would say whenever we schedule it, I think it's got to be an off day, not a game day.
Yes.
And I'll give you this. I kind of think an idea that I've had is why don't we make that a members only pod? And then, we'll release it a few weeks after, but
that's a good one.
Or I don't know, because he likes to also use the audio for his pod.
We'll figure out something.
We'll figure something out, but it's got to be an off day.
Dragon says you look better than usual, Danny. Maybe it's the beard. Yeah, no, it covers the chins. So I found that out. It's probably why I don't shave it off. Chad doing? Listen, I would bring Chad on in a heartbeat. Number one, we have to be careful with that because of
what
the networks you two work for. I don't want to get you guys.
I mean, I don't think we would be in trouble for doing something.
This
is not my day job.
This is true, but I want to make sure nobody gets in trouble there. But also, Chad is on the radio right now doing fifth quarter.
Chad and Richmond are like guys that you can't do on game days.
Yeah, so that's just kind of how that works. So it would have to be kind of an off day thing. And the thing about the off day thing is we normally go at 5:30, and Chad is.
Oh my God, they hit a 3.
USC hit it.
Oregon State did to tie the game.
You're shitting me.
I am not. Wow, you guys are awful.
Yeah, number 16 in the country. Get out of here.
I had somebody text me that the Oregon State player, they quit. So the fact that this is even a game is unbelievable.
Listen, USC is just out there like Reggie Miller right now, man. They're from Southern
We
California.
need to get out of
They need to
here.
get the hell out of Oregon, all right? So, but with the games not really being so significant down the stretch, guys, I want to bring in a lot of guests. I want to bring in a lot of people to talk about a lot of different things as far as where the organization sits now, what are the options going forward, what are thoughts, ideas, all the things that kind of go along those lines. Double E says Keegan Murray and Walker Kessler. That's weird. I see Keegan Murray, but Walker Kessler, no. You're the wrong guy from Auburn. Anyways, we'll get out of here on that because Brandon is about ready to fall asleep. It is way too late. It's a national TV game. We're going to get him out of here before 10:30. So that in itself is a miracle. So
Danny, when you see the game tying 3, it's going to piss you off.
Well. Bleak says ET would be hilarious with a drugged up Danny. Listen, I'm making my efforts to get Evan on the show. I would 100% love to have Evan Turner on here to talk about his time with the Blazers and being a playmaker in the NBA and kind of being a vet to Anfernee Simons in his rookie year. So
I know a gal that is basically begging me to get him on just so she can get me to put in a good word for her to be a good stepmom.
There you go. Perfect. I'm sure Evan would gladly oblige. Thanks to all of you for listening. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Help us grow the show. Jack Ramsay is part of the Blue Wire Network. We will catch you guys here for the next game. We obviously have 2 days off, and then we have the Nuggets on Sunday, 9 p.m. tip. Earlier game. So, I'm sorry. It's a 6 p.m. tip, 9 p.m. in Denver. So we'll catch you guys then.